Number two class in the nation. Bama had 9 5 stars, kind of edged out Georgia there. But besides that, 18 of them early enrollees.
Mm-hmm.
Any particular guys that you think we need to keep a look? I know that you could sit here for the next hour and talk about all the waves of talent, but
Yeah.
any particular guys that you really like that could make an immediate impact?
Well, there's a couple. And I'll probably start with a defensive tackle. Jordan Hall, one of Georgia's 5 stars from Jacksonville, 6'5", 306, has a chance for some very early playing time. They signed a trio of very talented, wide receivers. Anthony Evans, the third, Yaziz Haynes, and let's see who else. And Tyler Williams as well. 3 guys are all early enrollees. Will have a chance to play early on. But man, there's guys, more guys too. I mean, Troy Bowles from down in Tampa. Raylan Wilson is a guy inside linebacker I think can play pretty quickly. I mean, AJ Harris. I mean, Gabriel Harris at defensive end, another one that can see very early playing time. But there's probably Kirby Smart, as we know, is not shy about playing young kids if they show they're ready. And there's a good number of this group here that I think you're going to see a lot early next season.
All right, Anthony, quarterback room. Gunnar Stockton, Carson Beck,
Yeah.
Brock Vandegrift. These guys are all borderline, if not fives, they're high 4 stars.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's transferred yet. We know the
No.
transfer portal opens back up on May 1st. Just kind of compare these guys, strengths, weaknesses, who you think may have the edge. Give us a quick look here.
Yeah, well, Coach Smart had, it's said a couple of times that one of the things he's definitely looking for in a quarterback is mobility. And if you look at just from a mobility standpoint, Brock Vandegrift and Gunnar Stockton are probably the two best at that Georgia has right now. I mean, Gunnar Stockton is the guy who played scout team the entire year, former 5 star. Uh, is just you talk to players and they've all been players on the team from this past year. They've all have been extremely impressed with his ability to really lack of a better word, really to do it all. I mean, he can hurt teams with his legs. Got a very strong arm. Same thing for Brock Vandegrift. Brock may have been a little, I won't say slow learning the system, but he may be a little bit behind what Gunnar was able to do, even though Brock has been around a year longer. But those 2 guys, but Carson Beck. Carson is the one who was a number 2 QB last year. When he did play, he put up some great numbers, threw for almost 400 yards, and I think it was 3 touchdowns, did not have an interception. So he knows the offense probably the best of those 3. And it's not like he's slow in the pocket or a statue by any stretch of the imagination. He can, hurt you with his legs as well. But that competition is going to be interesting to kind of see what happens. Right now, if I had to guess, I probably would lean toward Carson. But again, the just the natural ability of somebody like a Gunnar Stockton and Brock Vandegrift, once again, it's going to be curious to see how this all kind of plays out. But I don't think you're going to see Georgia name a starter, coming into spring. You mentioned transfer portal, you know, that's one of the reasons why you're not going to have them name a starter, because they don't want to name a starter, have somebody up and leave, come March 1st. But they'll probably have the players that is will have probably a decent idea kind of what's going to shake down. But we won't, the media and fans probably won't hear anything about a starting quarterback. I'm guessing, knowing how Kirby Smart works, the last week in fall camp. So it'll be a while before we get a complete answer.
We talk quarterback room, of course, because Stetson Bennett is the big loss on offense, among others. Jalen Carter's the monster on defense, who could be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. This is a team that's sustained 15 losses to the NFL draft this time last year and 5 defensive players in the first round, just unprecedented. Still win a national championship. But obviously, there are guys that leave voids, not just for talent reasons, but leadership and otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So out of those early entries to the NFL draft, or maybe even the entire NFL draft class, which ones do you think really hurt?
Jalen Carter, I think, stands out just, again, when he was healthy, he was basically unblockable. He was just made such an impact for Georgia, not just the defensive front, but the defense as a whole. But, Georgia also will have to replace Nolan Smith. Before he got hurt, was having an All-American, type year. And in the secondary, they lose Christopher Smith. Kelly Ringo has moved on to the NFL. So those are 2 spots in the secondary that need to find answers for. But like you said, kind of like last year when people were wondering how Georgia was going to replace, all those players lost to the draft. Once again, because of the recruiting, they've got players stacked up to step in and take their place. So although I don't know if they've got somebody like a Jalen Carter right now, there are some talented players. Defensive tackle Bear Alexander really showed out in the national championship game. Had a couple of sacks in that one, and is a similar type of a player. Saint plays a similar type of motor that Jalen does, and I mentioned the freshman they've got is an early enrollee right now, Hall, coming in that he's going to make an impact too. So Georgia's not going to be lacking for talent now. Nobody's going to be feeling sorry for the Bulldogs or what they've got lined up for next year, I don't think.